Art of the Steal.
We'll be right back with this story from Go Right News. You can follow us on GoRightNews.com for more information. Hi, fellow patriots. This is Peter Boykin from #GoRight. Share this right now. Time to go right.
WNBA star Brittney Griner was released into U.S. custody after the Biden regime agreed to a prisoner swap for a notorious Russian arms dealer. Now back up. Griner was arrested at a Moscow airport back in February of 2022 when authorities found marijuana paraphernalia in her luggage, CBD oil. She pled guilty to the charges over the summer and was sentenced to 9 years in prison. Details of the Griner's release, with diplomatic ties between the U.S. and Russia on edge over the war in Ukraine, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates stepped in and, quote, led mediation efforts. Ultimately, Griner was traded for Viktor Bout, a Russian arms dealer known as the Merchant of Death. Bout was convicted of terrorism in 2011 for trying to sell tens of millions of dollars worth of missiles to Marxist terrorists in Colombia so they could shoot down U.S. military helicopters, leaving a man behind. The Biden regime initially asked for the release of both Griner and former Marine Paul Whelan, who was also wrongfully detained by the Russians, but the Russians refused to release Whelan. A top Democrat blasted Biden over the swap. New York Senator Bob Menendez said, quote, "The Russians and other regimes that take American citizens hostage cannot pretend that there is an equivalence between the Brittney Griners of the world and people like Viktor Bout and the so-called Merchant of Death. Nothing could be further from the truth, and we cannot ignore that releasing Bout back into the world is a deeply disturbing decision. We must stop inviting dictatorial and rogue regimes to use Americans overseas as bargaining chips." The big picture. It's good that an American citizen, even if she has a history of hating on her own country, is back home. It's bad that Joe Biden is emboldening our enemies to take more American hostages and expect to exchange them for high priority criminals like Viktor Bout. Make no mistake, more Americans will be taken hostage due to the swap, and it will be Joe Biden's fault. Thank you for tuning in. This is #GoRight with Peter Boykin. You can learn more at GoRightNews.com.